Okay, so now you've turned in your 7 sentences of the writing prompt to Miss Bond. And then you left me a message about something great that's happened to you today. Now we're going to look at some order of operation-ish types of problems. Okay, order of operation you should have talked about was PEMDAS. And that everything we do in print is done in order. And that we start with parentheses. Parentheses will always come first. And that as soon as you do parentheses, we mark out the E because we don't do exponents. Then you multiply and divide from left to right in order of how it's read. And then add and subtract in order from left to right and how it's read. Okay, and some kind of semblance you should have used what's up there on the board and also in your notes to help you out. All right, so 2 5/8 plus 5/6. 2 5/8 plus 5/6 is in parentheses. So I'm going to come over to the side and I'm going to solve this vertically because that's how we solve fractions. And we're going to find that common denominator for 6 and 8. Well, off the top of my head, we might not know that. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 'kay. Do I need to keep going? Okay, we'll go ahead and put 48 and 54. Okay, do you think there's anything 8's going to have in common that's small? Let's try. 8, nope. 16. 24. Look at there. They both have a 24. So I was afraid we're going to have to go to 48, didn't we? All right, so we're going to make equivalent fractions with 24 as the denominator. You've been doing this for going on 3 weeks now, so this should be easy peasy for you. 5/8 equals what over 24? All right, what can I multiply 8 by to get 24? Times 3, right? So then in the numerator, I'm going to multiply times 3. And 5 times 3 is 15. Okay? You're looking denominator, denominator, numerator, and numerator. Okay? Now, 5/6 equals something over 24. How can I make 6 equal 24? How can this denominator equal this denominator? Well, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put times 4 here in the denominator. So then I'm going to do times 4 in the numerator. And 4 times 5 is 20. And then we're adding. So we're going to add the numerators. 20 plus 15 is 35 over 24. Okay, and the whole number is 2. I'm going to leave it like that for just a minute. So 2 and 35 over 24. And then I'm going to add 1/8. So 1/8. Well, I know 8 goes into 24 3 times, right? So I'm going to make this one equivalent by making it the same. And then I'm going to make this one equivalent. How can 8 equal 24? Times 3. And then 1 times 3 is 3. So now 35 plus 3 is 38 over 34. Okay, so now I can typo 38 over 34. 34 will go into 38 one time with 34 left over. 1 times 34 is 34. I'm tired. 1 times 34 is 34. 8 minus 4 is 4. 4 becomes the numerator. 34 is the denominator. So it equals 1 and 4 over 31. So now we add our whole numbers. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then 4 over 34. Okay, and then we have learned to reduce a fraction. Now, if you were to do a t-chart for 34, you know that 34 would not be able to be equaled by any number. So the only way I can do it is divide it by 2. Okay, so now you have to figure out what 34 is. Well, if 15 is 30 and 16 is 32, 17 is going to be 34. Okay? All right. Next problem. 5 1/4 plus 3 5/6 plus 1 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to write 5 1/4, 3 5/6. Okay, and if we don't know the common denominator, we're going to make tic-tac-toe boards. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 6, 12, 18. Have you seen anything they have in common yet? 12. So we're going to make common denominators of 12. So we're going across. 1/4 equals something over 12. How can I make this denominator equal to this denominator? How can I make 4 equal to 12? 4 times 3. So then I multiply the numerator. 1 times 3 is 3. Equivalent fractions. 5 over 6 is equal to something over 12. I need 6 to equal 12. I need this denominator to be the same as this denominator to equal each other. Well, 6 times what equals 12? 2. Times 2, and then times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. All right, so we're going to add the numerators. 10 plus 3 is 13 over 12. And then 5 plus 3 is 8. We're going to leave it alone for a minute, okay, until we finish, because now we have to add 1 3/4. 1 3/4. All right. Denominators are 4 and 12. Well, I know 4 goes into 12. So that means 13 over 12 is going to stay the same. 4 is going to become 12 when I multiply by 3. That means then I have to multiply the numerator by 3. And then add 13 plus 9. Okay, 22 over 12. 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay, is there anything wrong with that fraction the way it is right now? Is there anything that needs to be changed? Okay, right, the 22 over 12 is improper. So we have to divide. 12 will only go into 22 one time because 12 times 2 is 24, and that's too big. So 1 times 12 is 12. 2 minus 2 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have a remainder of 10 out of 12 left over. Okay, so now I have 1 and 10/12 plus that 9. 9 plus 1 is 10 and 10/12. So please, when you're writing this down, don't pre-mark your paper. Don't write the problems down like I did, because I did it so that you could see them. But you will run out of room. Please do not go ahead and write the problems down. Just solve them as you go. So this one was 10 and 10/12. Okay, next problem. 2 and 11/12. Minus 5/6 and minus 1/3. Okay, so we have to start with what's in parentheses. So we're going to start with 5 over 6 minus 1 over 3. Well, I know 3 will go into 6. So that means my common denominator has to be 6. Right? And if you need to do a tic-tac-toe board to find that, by all means, please do it. All right, 6 is equal to 6 because this denominator and this denominator are the same. That means this numerator and this numerator have to be the same. They're the same numbers. Now, how can I make 3 equal to 6? How can this denominator equal this one? Times 2. And 1 times 2 is 2. Okay? Now subtract 5 minus 2 and you get 3. The denominator is 6. Okay, so if we're bringing everything down, now it's 2 and 11/12 minus 3, 6. So now I need to rewrite it. 2 and 11/12 minus 3 over 6. Okay, denominators are 12 and 6. 6 goes into 12 evenly, so that means 12 is going to be my common denominator. 12 is 12. Though this is the same, right? The denominators are exactly the same. So that means my numerators have to stay exactly the same. 11 over 12 has to stay 11 over 12. Okay? But 3 over 6 equals something over 12. So I need to figure out what can I multiply 6 by to make it equal 12 times 2. So then 3 times 2 is 6. All right. 11 minus 6. Numerator minus numerator. Okay, 5/12. And then your whole number is going to be what? All right, your answer should have been 2 and 5/12. Okay, 3/7 plus 2/3, and then we're going to add 1/3. All right, so we're going to come over and we're going to do 3 over 7 plus 2 over 3. Well, we can do a tic-tac-toe board for 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. And then we're going to start the 7s. We do the small one and then we're going to start the big one. 7. Nope. 14. Nope. 21. Yep. There we go. Common denominator. Okay, so my common denominator is going to be 21. Now, here's the thing. I have 3 over 7, but I need it to equal some number over 21. So what I do know is that 7 is equal to 21. And 7 equals 21 when I multiply it by 3. So whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do the numerator. And 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/7 and 9 over 21 are equivalent fractions. Now, 2/3 equals something over 21. 3 is equal to 21 when I multiply it. Okay, so times 7, and then the numerator times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. And you add them up and you get 23 over 21. 9 plus 14 is 23. The denominator stays 21. So I have 23 over 21 plus 1/3 now. So 23 over 21 plus 1 over 3. Well, I know that 3 will go into 21. And my denominator can't be smaller than this one right here. Okay, whatever my biggest denominator is, my equivalent denominators can't be the smaller. So 23 is going to equal 23 because 21 equals 21. 3 is going to equal 21, but you got to multiply it by 7. and then multiply the numerator by 7. 1 times 7 is 7. Okay, now add 23 plus 7. Okay, you get 30 over 21, which is an improper fraction. So we're going to top in, bottom out. Top on the inside, bottom on the outside. 21 will only go into 30 only once. And then we have to subtract. 10 minus 1 is 9. 2 minus 2 is 0. So it's 1 with 9 over 21. Okay? But I have a sneaking suspicion that this one can be reduced. So what would I do to reduce that? What would I find? What are the 3 letters of the number I would find? They're called the what? Okay, the GCF. So I'm going to do a T-chart for 9 and a T-chart for 21, right? 1 times 9, 3 times 3. 1 times 21, 3 times 7. All right. They both have a 1. They both have a 3. Yep, the biggest number they both have is 3. So I'm going to divide the numerator by 3, divide the denominator by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. So that means my answer is 1 3/7. Okay? Reduce, reduce, reduce. Any chance you get. All right. 4 over 6 minus 2/12 plus 3/4. All right. So we have to start with parentheses. So we're going to start with 4 over 6 minus 2 over 12. I know the common denominator is going to be 12. Because 6 goes into 12 evenly. All right. 4, 6 equals blank over 12. I know 6 equals 12 when I multiply it by 2. So the numerator by 2 is 8. 12 is equal to 12 because it's the same number. So that means 2 is got to be equal to 2. And then we subtract. 8 minus 2 is 6/12. All right. So now we have 6 over 12 plus 3/4. So 6 over 12, 3 over 4. Okay, solve 6 over 12 plus 3 over 4. What would you get as your answer when you add the two together? Okay, your common denominator is going to be 12. 6 is equal to 6 because 12 is equal to 12. 4 is equal to 12 when I multiply it by 3. The numerator by 3 is 9. And then you should have added 9 plus 12 is 15. And the 9 plus 6 is 15. And the denominator is 12. 15 divided by 12. 12 is on the outside. 12 will go into 15 once with 3 left over. So your answer is 1 3/12. Can you reduce it? Yes or no? Yes. So find your GCF. What's the GCF of 3 and 12 going to be? Okay, 1 times 3. 1 times 12. 2 times 6. And 3 times 4. So even though there's not a lot of factors for 3, it still has something in common with 12. So you're going to divide top and bottom by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And the whole number stays the same. Okay. Nice. All right. Next problem. 6 over 16 plus 4/8 minus 1/4. So we're going to start with 4 over 8 minus 1 over 4. Because that's what's in parentheses. I know 4 goes into 8 evenly. So my common denominator is going to be 8. 8 equals 8. So that means 4 has to equal 4. 4 is equal to 8 after you multiply it by 2. So you're going to multiply the numerator by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2, and the denominator is 8. So 4/8 minus 1/4 is only 2/8. And then we bring down 6/16, and we're going to add them together. So I'm going to put 6 over 16 here, and let's add. What's the common denominator between 8 and 16? Okay. Okay, 2/8 equals blank over 16. 8 times 2 is 16. So then 2 times 2 is 4. 6 over 16 equals blank over 16. Because 16 and 16 are the same, 6 has to be 6. 6 plus 4 is 10, and the denominator is 16. All right, even over and even, so reduce it. What would you reduce 10 over 16 by? What's the greatest common factor? Okay, after you found the greatest common factor, you divide the top and bottom by the same number. So what did you reduce 10 over 16 to equal? Okay, 1 times 10, 2 times 5. 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. They have 1 and 2 in common. That's it. So the greatest common factor is 2. So if you divide the top and the bottom by 2, 10 divided by 2 was 5, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. So your answer should have been 5/8. Okay. All right. Let's look at just a couple more. Two fifths minus 2/10 plus 3/20. So we're going to start with 2/5 minus 2/10. 2 over 5 minus 2 over 10. What's my least common denominator going to be for 5 and 10? 10. 5 will go into 10 when I multiply it by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Whoops. Okay, 10 is already equal to 10, so that means 2 is going to be equal to 2. 4 minus 2 is 2/10. All right, so now we have 2/10 plus 3/20. Well, what's my common denominator going to be between 10 and 20? Obviously, it has to be 20, right? Which means this one stays the same. 10 is going to equal 20 when you multiply it by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we add 4 plus 3 and you get 7 over 20. Okay. Now, I know 7 times a number does not go into 20. I cannot multiply 7 times anything and get 20. And I know that I'm finished because the only factors for 7 are 1 and 7. So if 7 doesn't go into 20, 1 does. But remember, if the GCF is 1, you don't do anything. Because 7 is prime, we are done. Okay? Okay, 5/16 plus parentheses 3/4 minus 2/8. All right, so we have to start with 3/4 and 2/8. What's the common denominator between 4 and 8 going to be? It's 8. 4 is equal to 8 after you multiply it by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 is equal to 8. And 2 is going to be equal to 2. They're the same. 6 minus 2 is 4. And my denominator is 8. Okay. So now we're going to add 5/16 plus 4/8. All right, so 5/16. We're going to add my common denominator between 8 and 16 is 16. 8 equals 16 when you multiply it by 2. 4 equals 8 when you multiply it by 2, because whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 16 is equal to 16, so that means 5 is going to be equal to 5. And then add 8 plus 5. 13/16. All right, so again, 13 is prime. So the only factors for 13 are 1 and 13. So if 13 doesn't go into 16, which it does not, then the only other number that's going to go into each other is 1. So we are finished. 13/16. All right, last problem. 7 3/8 plus 3 1/4 minus 9/16. So we're going to do 7 3/8, 3 1/4. No different than what we've been doing. Y'all did great on the mixed numbers, adding and subtracting. So common denominator is going to be 8. Right? I'm not doing anything different. 8 is equal to 8, so that means 3 is equal to 3. 4 is equal to 8 when I multiply it by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And then we're adding, so 3 plus 2 is 5. Denominator is 8. Now add 7 plus 3. 10 5/8. Now it's going to be minus 9/16. Okay, so we're going to come down and we're going to go 10 5/8 because we do it vertically. Minus 9/16. Common denominator for 8 and 16 will be 16, right? 8 will equal 16 when I multiply it by 2. So then I multiply 5 times 2 and I get 10. 16 is already equal to 16, so 9 is going to equal to 9. We're subtracting. 10 minus 9 is 1. The denominator is 16. Whole number is 10. I don't have anything here to subtract it from, so my answer is 10 1/16. Okay? All right. Guys, I know these videos are boring, and I know it's not fun, but it's the only way that I could keep you focused and keep you working and keep you on track, because we don't have time to fall behind right now because you have your CBA coming up on Friday. Okay? Those of you that are virtual, you will I will be sending you an email about having a time to be proctored, which means you will take your CBA while someone is watching you to make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing or reading it to you orally. I will let you know. Okay? Also, please be on your best behavior for Miss Bond. Okay? I want to get a great note when I return. Okay? So please, please, please take care of business. Make sure you're getting all the notes done. All of these problems should have been copied down into your journal and left for Miss Bond to check off. Okay? So she has my notes, so she knows what she's looking for. And she also has all the information that I told her what y'all are supposed to be doing. Okay? So please, please, please make it easy on her and do what you're supposed to do. All right? I will see y'all on Monday.